Hi there, welcome back to my views and news. Another video for you. Two news stories. Firstly, a meaningful statement from Ethiopian Foreign Ministry spokesperson about the armed group operating in Somalia. Statement is indicative of Ethiopian intentions, and Ethiopia want to withdraw its troops from Somalia. What is it up to in Somalia? Secondly, illegal migration from Eritrea to Ethiopia being reported. Though we know that bilateral relations are not very friendly these days. Eritrean refugees are complaining that they are being told to pay hefty fines to if they want to leave Ethiopia. Still, hundreds of Eritreans are entering Ethiopia reportedly, according to some Ethiopian government. Let's start, viewers, with the first story, which is about Ethiopia-Somalia tensions. Somalia has now officially announced that Ethiopian troops are not going to be part of the new peacekeeping mission, going to take over on the 1st of January 2025 after almost 45 days. Ethiopia has several thousand troops in Somalia. And Ethiopia says the troops are there to protect the government of Somalia and to protect Ethiopia from Al Shabaab. Because Al Shabaab is not just a threat to Somalia, but a regional threat. So while Ethiopian troops are being kicked out of Somalia, what is Ethiopian strategy about Al Shabaab? Because Ethiopia wants to keep Al Shabaab away from its borders. If Al Shabaab manages to take control of Gaidu or areas in Heran, obviously it would be matter of concern for the Ethiopian government, especially keeping in view the capabilities of Somalia's military. Somalia's military is being established. It's not in a position to single-handedly counter al-Shabaab. Ethiopian Foreign Ministry spokesperson has made it clear what Ethiopia is planning about the fight against al-Shabaab. Nebiot Getachew is the name of Ethiopian Foreign Ministry spokesperson. And yesterday he responded to a question about the expulsion of Ethiopian troops from Somalia. He said the work of weakening Al-Shabaab will continue. How to interpret this sentence? The work of weakening Al-Shabaab will continue. Will Ethiopia continue the work of weakening Al-Shabaab on Ethiopian territory or by maintaining its presence, its military presence in Somalia? Because in Ethiopia, we're not seeing any active fighting between Al-Shabaab and Ethiopian forces. Yes, some intelligence-based surgical operations are conducted sometimes. Reconnaissance intelligence work is underway to stop Al-Shabaab from spreading its ideology in Ethiopia. There is no active conflict between Ethiopian forces and Al-Shabaab fighters in Ethiopia. Conflict is in Somalia, where a few days ago Al-Shabaab fighters carried out a military base of the Ethiopian National Defense Force. Some Ethiopian soldiers were injured in that attack. Does Ethiopia mean that it will maintain its military presence in Somalia to weaken Al-Shabaab, to continue weakening Al-Shabaab? I think this is what Ethiopia means. Ethiopia is not considering full withdrawal of its military from Somalia. And maybe some regional states are also supportive of this Ethiopian position. Southwest state Jubaland are supportive of Ethiopian continued military presence in the regional states. Why? Because if Ethiopian troops withdraw, maybe the regional governments will be more vulnerable to attacks from Al-Shabaab. That is why regional governments are supportive of the deployment, continued deployment of Ethiopian military. This month, November and December are very crucial because federal government of Somalia will try to kick Ethiopian troops out of southwest state and Jubaland. Jubaland has cut off ties with the federal government southwest state on working terms, but it is opposing the withdrawal of Ethiopian troops. Mogadishu will make some big decisions in coming days. Who will support Mogadishu in expelling Ethiopian troops? Egypt or some other country? Let's hope that all the issues are solved peacefully, because there are so many players involved in this issue that Al-Shabaab could take advantage of the internal conflict and bilateral conflict between Ethiopia and Somalia to strengthen its ranks. Secondly, viewers, illegal migration from Eritrea into other countries is not a new phenomenon. For decades, people have been fleeing Eritrea. Millions of people flee their countries annually. It's not just a phenomenon specific to Eritrea. But the people who flee Eritrea, they complain that their basic rights are not being respected. They're forced to serve in military, in indefinite national service, and countries under the brutal rule of one party, one man, no democracy, no election, no judiciary, no accountability, no parliament, no constitution, no media, nothing, just one party or one man rule. That is why it's easy to get asylum if you're an Eritrean, because you are given preference. Eritreans still fleeing their country. Eritreans use Sudan or Ethiopia as a transit to go to Europe or North America. Ethiopia relations not very friendly these days. Sudan, obviously not an ideal transit country these days, keeping in view the war there. So if you enter Sudan from Eritrea, no one can guarantee your safe transit through Sudan. Fighting ongoing there. Ethiopia, relatively better choice, but Ethiopia also seeing internal conflicts, and Ethiopia relations not very friendly. Tigray is complaining. Tigray officials are complaining that Eritreans are entering Tigray illegally. They say that hundreds have entered Tigray recently, and networks are operating to smuggle these Eritreans into Tigray. Sirona is a town on Tigray-Eritrea border. From Sirona, these Eritreans entered Tigray. Tigray-Eritrea border still not fully demarcated, not fenced, not fully manned. There is no proper and full-scale deployment of Ethiopian National Defense Force here. Tigray security force is obviously not in a position to secure the entire border as well. Tigray is in the process of disarming, demobilizing its forces. Eritrea has secured its border on its side. Tigray not in a position to secure its border. So Eritreans are entering Tigray. Several hundred entered in the last few months. Now Tigray government is complaining. It is asking humanitarian organizations, refugee organizations to address this issue, to stop this illegal migration into Tigray from Eritrea. Thanks for watching.